Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Dream Success Strategy. I'm your host, Marilen Crump, and today I have James Moore. Woohoo! So, James, thank you for being here with me. And you are celebrating something really cool, and I happen to have this book right here. What? So, James is the author of, do I pronounce it HOM?
Yes, that's how it's pronounced.
Ooh. So, HOM. And I'm going to just read the little top part. That's okay.
That's fine.
So it says, a hellish war is coming. Can a group of superpowered teens defeat a demon army? What? Like, this is cool. It's like, I'm sure there's going to be, like, I can't wait to dig into it. I wanted to do the interview first so that I can, like, get your little bit of insider information so that when I read it, I might have some like cool things to keep in my head. So, first of all, how long have you been writing books?
Um, I've been seriously writing for the past 4 years now. And that book, Home, is actually my second effort in writing a novel slash novella. And I'm very proud of the end result.
And I think, especially if it's teens, right? Is this for all ages? Like, who would really get the most enjoyment out of this book?
In, in my personal opinion, I've written the story with everyone in mind above a certain age, but I can see how the publisher has classified it as YA. It's kind of in the YA category, but I'm hoping that enjoyment will cross multiple lines in age.
And I know you're also involved in the film industry. Do you ever see this possibly becoming a screenplay?
Well, not only do I see it becoming a screenplay, I've written the screenplay, the first draft, at least, in anticipation of the success that I'm, going to claim to the universe of the book. I didn't want anyone to say, well, we should do a screenplay. Do you want to be a part of it? I want to be able to say, well, here's my effort at the screenplay. I'm not a professional. I don't do this as a job. But if my publisher comes to me and says, we're thinking about doing a screenplay, I say, maybe we should start with this. I want to be as involved as possible. And if I'm going to make assumptions, I'm going to assume success.
Ooh, I love that. And really, this is what I love talking to other creatives about because, in my opinion, if you do things in a certain way, one of it, like you just mentioned, is proclaim that vision. It really starts shaping up. So, just so you know, and you probably already read this somewhere, but DREAM stands for direction, relinquish, efficiency, action, and momentum. And it's my belief that if you put all those five things in that order in place, you'll be able to achieve a lot of things. And so what you did was you said, I'm going to write a book. Now, the first thing you have to do is give up something, whether it's time or something else. Like, what did you, James Moore, have to relinquish in order to make this happen?
Well, at that stage for that particular book, and realistically with the first book also, I had to give up being idle. I had to give up being really lazy and Netflix and chilling to do that. And I was happy to do it. I come from a background in heritage where I remember my parents, my dad, my mom. We do like to enjoy ourselves. We do like to relax and lay back. But after a while, you're like, well, what am I here for? I need to do something. And this seemed like the most fun thing to do.
How did you come up with your way of doing things? Because E stands for efficiency, and I know you have to be very organized in order to accomplish things. How long did it take you to write this book?
That book, I would say, from beginning to end, from sitting down for the first time at the laptop to getting the acceptance email from a publisher, is a 3 year period.
Wow. Okay. And how did you maintain your motivation? Because if it took that long, Some people, you know this, they'll say, "Oh my gosh, I've been at this for like 3 weeks. I'm done."
Well, personally, I feel like if something is important, you'll just keep at it. And something like writing a book, you can just say to yourself, well, I don't have to write the book tonight. I don't have to finish, writing the entire book in one night. You do what you can each night you can. And, you're just going to have to work it into your schedule. If it's important, you can do it. Even though I'm a little bit more advanced in age than some people that have started their first book, and there's a sense of urgency, you got to balance a sense of urgency with the comfort of knowing, I'm going to plan this out and break it up in chunks that I can handle and be able to get the job accomplished.
Now you have a lovely partner in crime. I've had the honor of working with Donna. How does it help in your relationship? And you're both creative people. Like, how do you keep each other um, motivated, but also, I guess, creatives need space too. Like, how do you balance that in a marriage?
Well, I do believe, number one, I think it was not an accident that I was given my wife, that she's the perfect match for me. Neither one of us is perfect, but we fit perfectly. And because of that, not because of anything I've done or said, she's the perfect person at the perfect time. She's the one that, when I'm laying around, maybe doing nothing, and she knows that I have a project, she knows that I have a deadline, she'll say, how far are you on that project? Or did you do anything yesterday on that project? She knows exactly how to do the prod. And she's also ideal woman, she's support woman. She just, is always thinking of me and what I want to accomplish. And I try to copy that and do that for her. Well, did you go out with your camera today? Did you take any interesting pictures? Where are we going to go today? That sort of thing, and trying to compliment each other on it, knowing that we're going to be life partners. She's not going to let me go as far as she's not going to let me off the hook as far as the things that I say I'm going to do. So I can't let her off the hook on the things that she says she wants to do.
Ooh, that's good. You kind of have like a built-in accountability partner, and you're coaching
Exactly.
each other. So that's wonderful. And with your other collaborations, like I know that there's different personalities, there's different perspectives. How do you approach collaboration?
Well, the way I approach collaboration, and it's interesting you put it just that way, because as I've been learning to write as a screenwriter, writing screenplays for projects, that the writer's role is very lonely up front, but very collaborative near the end product if it's done correctly. And unless you're the writer, director, producer, unless you're wearing all those hats, if you're working in a normal environment and doing a film, the writer's role is, it's just you're by yourself. But then after that, when you're done, you're talking to the director, you're dealing with the talent, you're dealing with the cinematographer. If you're fortunate, you'll get included in those parts of the project. And I think the most important thing for a writer specifically to remember is, in that lonely first phase, you are absolute God, Lord, and master of what happens on that page. You are the creator, Lord of the universe. That all goes away as soon as you hand your script over to someone else. You're not Lord and master anymore. At the highest points, you can make suggestions, and that's it. And if that's all done with respect and mutual respect for one another, then you end up with a good experience and a good product.
And that is the best, I think, because I'm always learning from others. And I never want to think that I know everything, right? Like, I find myself in different situations where I am the one in front of the classroom, I'm the one teaching, I'm the one guiding, but that doesn't mean that I am like the all knowing person. Like, I need to leave room for new perspectives. And sometimes I find that even people at the newest phase of creativity, they ask the neatest questions, and you're like, wow, I never thought of it
Hmm.
that way.
Yeah.
So, have you always considered yourself a creative?
No, absolutely not. I did not always consider myself a creative. Early on in my experience, I was very much attracted to technical things. I excelled in math and science. I was encouraged to go that route. I have an entire soapbox on how males are driven in one direction as far as what you're going to be able to do in school, and how females, girls, are taken in a different direction as far as what they can and can't do. So I was always encouraged that I can do math, I can do science, I can be an engineer. And that really seemed interesting to me at one point. And the creative part was always suppressed. I mean, it was there. I had opportunities here and there, but never thought of it as any kind of a vocation or a lifestyle until recently.
And when you're writing about characters, I guess those changes, that progression, the things that you've had to face yourself, uh, probably colors a lot of your characters. Now, if you're writing about teens and you're saying, look, I'm of a certain age, like, how do you get back to that mindset of being like, I'm a teenager?
Well, you draw back on some memories, of course, of being a teenager. I think that there probably more similarities between being a teenager now and being a teenager in the 70s, like I was. But there's also differences too. You know, I did take a little bit of license talking with, grandchildren as far as, how do the kids say this now? But the experience, the feelings, the challenges, they're very similar since the dawn of time, since civilization. So a lot does not change. As far as what is interesting in a story does not change. And I think that that comes through for anybody that writes for a certain genre, especially YA. It's you have a talent for it at a certain level because you've been through it.
Now, when you read your own books, and imagine it as becoming a film and everything like that, are you like visually like already set in how that would look on screen? Do you tend to see that already, or do you feel like I'm going to need somebody else's imagination to help me here?
Right. Well, something that I learned early on in getting involved with film projects is what I write on paper. To be good at it, to have a talent, you do have to have that movie in your mind. You do have to have a picture of what's going on so that you can tell the story in a meaningful way. And it's the same thing with writing a novel. That's one thing I learned in the writing group. It was confirmed with me by other people who did it for a living. Writing a story, you're trying to put a picture in that reader's mind, and you can only do that with seeing it yourself. Now, when you're writing a screenplay, though, something that should happen, and it happens to me, fortunately, because I'm associated with an outstanding director, a visionary type guy. He would never say it about himself, but I'll say it for him. He can take what's been written and say, okay, visually with the camera, this is how we should show this. It doesn't change the story, but it gives it impact and power on how you do it. There's a huge difference between taking a shot that looks down on talent or looks up on talent, as far as the psychological effect, which is something that me as a writer with no aspirations of being a director can't appreciate fully, but can appreciate on the screen when I see it. And that's the director's job to do that. So the story gets enhanced and given more power when that's done correctly.
Ooh, I love it. I love that. So you've mentioned so many wonderful things. I can really see the progression of how this is going to turn out. I want everybody to be aware that this book is out now, and that's something that you should definitely at least check out. It looks like to me it's going to be a pretty nice read on a maybe one of these like uh every shut everybody out afternoon, so I can really start seeing the whole vision of it. So I'm just going to add this here, which is the website on how you can get a hold of one of these books. So it's J E Moore, Moore 451 wix.com/the-home-of-home HOM. So thank you so much, James. And any other last thing you want to add about your book?
Well, as far as the book, it was a pleasure writing it. And of the website, I actually have character details on the website. So that's something that you might have an interest in before you read the book. And the best thing that a writer can get in any genre is feedback. So if you do decide to read the book, if you do decide to partake in it, please leave an honest review and I'll be able to work good suggestions into a sequel.
Wonderful. Yes. So we need you. We need the audience. We need the other creatives as well. I'm all about networking, and James and I have had some discussions, and I'm sure, James, you are open to people with creative ideas approaching you about those things.
Oh, yes.
So, yay. How fantastic. All right. Well, until next time, everyone, thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate the fact that you are here learning more about life in general, as far as how to create success through our dreams and passions. So this is Marilen Crump signing off. Bye, everybody.
Bye.